Froome found to have an excessive level of an asthma drug at Vuelta. Team Sky's top rider says it was for medical use and within permitted doses. Britain's most successful road cyclist Chris Froome is fighting for his reputation after returning an adverse analytical finding following a drugs test during his victory in the Vuelta in September. A joint investigation by The Guardian and Le Monde can reveal. Froome, who also won his fourth Tour de France in July, was found to have exceeded the permitted levels of the asthma drug salbutamol on a test taken on September 20. Under World Anti-Doping Agency rules, riders are allowed a level of 1,000 nanograms per milliliter. However, the 32-year-old was found to have twice that in the urine sample taken during the Tour of Spain. The Guardian understands lawyers and scientists are working on behalf of Froome and Team Sky to challenge the result, which is why it has not been made public until now. However, if the Briton is unable to offer a sufficient explanation for the abnormal finding or challenge the result itself, he will forfeit his Vuelta title under the rules of cycling's world governing body, the UCI. Riding the Tour de France and Vuelta is one thing, winning them quite another. William Fotheringham read more. If the test result is upheld, Froome could face a significant ban which may rule him out of next year's Giro d'Italia and the Tour de France, where he was planning to go for a record-equaling fifth yellow jersey. In 2007, the Italian cyclist Alessandro Petacchi was given a 12-month ban for excessive salbutamol and stripped of his 5-stage victories in the Giro d'Italia. Froome said, "It is well known that I have asthma and I know exactly what the rules are. I use an inhaler to manage my symptoms, always within the permissible limits. And I know for sure that I will be tested every day I wear the race leader's jersey. My asthma got worse at the Vuelta, so I followed the team doctor's advice to increase my salbutamol dosage. As always, I took the greatest care to ensure that I did not use more than the permissible dose. I take my leadership position in my sport very seriously. The UCI is absolutely right to examine test results and, together with the team, I will provide whatever information it requires." Q&A. What is salbutamol? Shohide salbutamol is medication used to relieve symptoms of asthma and other lung conditions, such as coughing, wheezing and feeling breathless. It works by relaxing the muscles of the airways into the lungs, which makes it easier to breathe. It is taken normally through an inhaler, although it can also be ingested as a tablet, capsule or syrup. Under WADA rules, riders are allowed a level of 1,000 nanogram per millimeter. The presence in urine of salbutamol in excess of that is presumed not to be an intended to and will be considered as an adverse analytical finding, unless the athlete proves that the abnormal result was the consequence of the use of the therapeutic dose by inhalation, up to the maximum dose indicated above. Salbutamol is not something you need to take. After a number of sources had told The Guardian and Le Monde about Froome's adverse analytical finding, David Leparchin, the president of the UCI, confirmed his organization was aware of it. There are rules of conduct. Leparchin said, "I'm not here to break our rules. It's not for me to interfere with this case. The procedure is secret, under discussion, and I don't have any information on it. I do not even know in what stage of the Vuelta the sample was taken. I was just informed of an irregular test result, but I don't know whether the taking of salbutamol was justified or not." In a statement, Team Sky said that Froome received the notification of the adverse analytical finding from the UCI on the 20th of September, prior to the individual time trial event at the World Championships. Team principal Sir Dave Brailsford said, "There are complex medical and physiological issues which affect the metabolism and excretion of salbutamol. We're committed to establishing the facts and understanding exactly what happened on this occasion. I have the utmost confidence that Chris followed the medical guidance in managing his asthma symptoms, staying within the permissible dose for salbutamol. Of course, we will do whatever we can to help address these questions. In September, Froome spoke of his joy after becoming the first Briton to win the Vuelta, which also made him the first cyclist to win the Tour de France, Vuelta double in the same year, since 1978. Later that month he also won a bronze medal in the World Time Trial Championships in Norway, a result he described as an amazing end to an unforgettable season. But by then he had already taken a drug test which threatens to damage his reputation as one of Britain's most successful athletes. That success had arrived late in Froome's career. Until his mid-20s, his results were those of an average member of the peloton. However, the softly spoken rider, who was born in Kenya but represents Britain, shot to prominence in 2011 with a second-place finish in the Vuelta. He explained his improvement had come about owing to the successful treatment of the parasitic flatworm bilharzia, which had robbed him of energy. The following year he won an Olympic bronze medal in London before claiming his first Tour de France title in 2013. Such has been his dominance since. He now enjoys a $4 million a year salary from Team Sky, making him the best-paid rider in the world. Yet he has never experienced the same affection that another home rider, Sir Bradley Wiggins, has enjoyed with the British public. Perhaps that has something to do with having never lived in England, having grown up in Kenya and South Africa and then lived in Monaco for many years. That said, he has been nominated again for Sunday's BBC's Sports Personality of the Year award, where he is third favourite behind the boxer Anthony Joshua and the F1 driver Lewis Hamilton. Inevitably, given cycling's troubled past with doping, Froome has also faced questions over whether he is clean despite having never returned an abnormal drug test result before now. Such has been the vitriol at times that, at the 2015 Tour de France, one fan spat at him while another threw a bottle of urine in his face. The way he carried himself at the time earned him plenty of admirers, and Froome has always vehemently insisted he is no cheat. Pointedly, when the Russian hackers Fancy Bears published documents showing that Wiggins had been granted therapeutic use exemptions for the powerful corticosteroid triamcinolone before 3 major races for a pollen allergy, Froome suggested his former colleague had been wrong. As Froome put it on his personal Twitter account last year, he was not prepared to win at all costs, adding there are some athletes who not only abide by the rules that are in place, but also those of fair play. The test result is another blow for Team Sky, who have struggled to recover their reputation after an anti-doping investigation was launched into allegations about a package delivered to Wiggins at a race in 2011. The UK anti-doping agency closed its 14-month investigation in November after being unable to find sufficient evidence of wrongdoing. However, a second investigation by the Digital, Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee continues. Wiggins has always insisted that he is innocent and last month said his life was being made a living hell because of a malicious witch hunt against him over the contents of the package. That Froome is battling to clear his name will only further ramp up the pressure on Team Sky, which, after all, was built on the foundations of having a zero-tolerance drug policy.